And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael DeLon. Today, I am talking with Navid Moosa. And well, Navid, first of all, thank you for squeezing me into your calendar.
Oh, likewise. Thank you for squeezing me in. I appreciate the opportunity.
You are welcome. This is going to be a really fun conversation. Navid is a man of many talents. And well, I'm not going to give it away quite yet. I'm going to make you wait because you've created this term that is really fascinating because you kind of brought these two words together in a really cool way. And he helped. Well, I'm not even going to say. I'm just going to say, Navid, thanks for being here. Tell me, how in the world did you get to doing what you do today? And then we're going to unpack it.
Well, thanks, Michael, for having me on. Thanks for asking me that question. So the term you're referring to is Agenteur. And essentially, so the backstory is I was unhappy with my job that I was currently at. And I was talking about real estate investing so much that my brother got tired of it and bought me, as my 30th birthday gift, classes to become a real estate agent.
Okay.
So he was like, here you go. Shut up and just go do, stop talking about your passion, actually execute on your passion.
Love it.
I'm like, okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So, and that's how it started in that regards there. But what I thought I was signing up for and what I actually signed up for were two different things. I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I did it for the money. That was just it. I was chasing the dollar figure. And I was like, okay, let me go and get into real estate, start selling properties and so on and so forth. However, when I got in, I really immediately got into the investment side of the business. So by that, I mean, I'm representing banks who have foreclosures and selling their homes to investors. So I'm still getting a check as a licensed real estate agent, getting a commission check, and that's it. And during one of those transactions, a regular investor, I never stood around and was nosy. You do what you got to go do. I do what I need to go do, and that was really about it. And after so many transactions, not sure exactly what happened as far as all the full details, but essentially when I was done with the transaction of me selling the product or the property to my investor, he immediately, and I mean, Michael, immediately within like 30 seconds, sold it to somebody else for about good $10,000 more than what he. Yeah, and I was confused. I was like, well, how do you do this? A saying that we have growing up, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So I opened my mouth, So I said, hey, how did you do that? Like, how were you able to basically make X dollars so fast? And he said, let's talk. And the funny thing was, during that discussion, he said, I was wondering when you're going to ask me. I said, why? Because I've been doing this whole time. And we're talking over a year.
Okay.
And he was like, I was wondering when you're going to ask me. I was like, well, I'm not a nosy person, but I'm not going to lie. I saw the numbers pique my attention.
Yeah.
So in the process of me learning about the investment side, so what he did was called a strategy called wholesale. And I won't go too much into that, but essentially he basically just flipped the property immediately. Instead of making 100 grand, for example, he made 15 grand. All right, whatever the numbers were.
Yeah, in what, 10 minutes? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll take that all day long. Yeah, both of us would, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. So as I'm experiencing this new epiphany of being in real estate, I'm also being exposed now to other investment avenues, right? So there's being a landlord, there's other aspects of it. And I'm seeing that as a real estate agent, we're kind of being held in this one shell. Like, listen, you're a real estate agent. This is all you do. You simply show me the property or sell my property, get your commission check, be happy, and be on your way.
Right.
And as someone who has an entrepreneurial spirit, I'm like, and I'm always looking for the next thing, if you will. I'm like, this is not good enough for me. And this is not fair. This is not fair that we're being held to this we're being held in this shell, if you will, in this room, and no one wants to give an opportunity to basically come out and play with the bigger boys. And so I heard this somewhere years ago, and it was like, if no one's going to give you a seat at the table, make your own table. And so that's what I decided to do. I decided to make a table for real estate agents to become investors, and entrepreneurs, hence the term Agenteur. So I started digging around. And I'm looking at the resources that we have as agents, tax records, property history, who bought what at what date and time, and mortgages. We have access to all that data. But we're taught to look at it with the lens of if you want to list somebody's home for them, not with the investor lens. Like, okay, if they bought it this date and this time, this should be their roughly mortgage on it, and then it's worth this much. So maybe you can offer this much. So I kind of go into a deep dive into that in my course, my How to Become an Agenteur course. And so I start looking at things with different lenses. And that was one of them was, okay, let's, instead of looking at this as an enlist agent or buyer's agent, let me look at it as an investor. And all these tools are tools that we already have to our advantage, to our, being an neighborhood agent. So we're like, all right, what else can I do? How can I take this to a more, not necessarily to the masses, how can I make it more advantageous, essentially, right? So as I'm looking at this, I'm looking at these different lenses and saying, okay, I start talking to my broker. This is where things got a little bit hairy. When I speak to my broker about these things, said, hey, did you know? He's like, we don't do that.
We don't do that.
We don't do that. And I said, well, wait a minute. Well, we can. After a little bit of back and forth, excuse me, it comes out that basically, listen, Navid, if you do it this way, those transactions as a brokerage, we don't have access to. So we don't get paid on those. I was like, aha.
That's why we don't do that.
Okay. So, and I don't know if I can say this or not, but basically you're the pimp and I work for you and you're pimping me out. Okay. I get it now. I get it. This is what it's about. It's not about my pocket, my family. It's about your pocket and your pocket only. And because you're not getting a piece of that pie, you don't want me to do it. I get it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to play the game. I'll simply play the game you want me to play. And I will go ahead and, do what I need to go do over here while I'm doing what I need to do over here. So I'm balancing. I'm balancing being a real estate agent, showing homes, showing buyers, listing homes as a real estate agent should do. But I'm also creating my own business. I'm also investing in real estate. I'm also buying real estate. And I'm going through that process. Excuse me. During that, more and more agents in my office are saying, hey, how are you able to drive this car? Or you're not barely in the office and you're going on vacation here. You're doing these things. And we're in here in the office more than you are. We're getting all these leads. How are you able to maintain this kind of lifestyle while we're not? We can't. Now, there's obviously other factors, but I told them, I said, well, here's what I'm doing. They're like, we can't do that. I'm like, no, you can.
Yeah.
It can be done. There's just ways to do it legally.
Right.
And that's all that matters. There's the contract you sign with the brokerage and you have to honor that. No doubt about it. And there's a contract you sign with the state that you're licensed in. Okay. But above all else is a contract you sign with yourself.
Yeah. Love that.
Right. There's a contract you sign within yourself, especially I'm a married man. I have 2 kids, God-fearing man. And I have a contract to my wife. I have a contract to my children, and I got to fulfill that contract first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely, brother.
Right. So that's what kicked in. And so I basically started, for lack of a better term, educating the other agents.
Yeah.
And said, look, I went to the state website. Here's how we can do this without breaking any rules anywhere. It's all about disclosure, 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 disclosure. I'm sure you probably heard, right? The 3 rules of real estate: location, 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 right? The 3 rules of real estate investing as an agent is disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. You have to just tell people, listen, I'm a licensed professional and I do this for a living. This is my license number. So before we interact as me buying the property off of you or me selling you something directly, you need to sign off and understand that you are dealing with a professional. So I know the numbers.
Right.
So I'm not getting over on you or anything like that. I do know the numbers and I understand I'm getting a good deal, but you are also getting a good deal too.
Right.
This is the proof. So long as we disclose, we're okay. But that's not taught in real estate school. That's not taught anywhere. Right. So once that kind of hit, yeah, me and my broker didn't get along very well after that.
I bet not. That is a fascinating story. And you have 2 or 3 things there that we could just dive into.
Sure.
But what I really want to focus on is this idea of the Agenteur, the course you've developed, because I was sitting here thinking, okay, we're going to be talking about helping existing realtors become on Agenteurs. Well, yeah, you can do that. But I'm sitting over here going, Well, what if, Navid, what if I hear you and going, I might want to try that. I could easily get my real estate license, skip all the brokerage stuff, go take your course, become an Agenteur, follow the rules, the laws, and all that, or figure it out. I'm guessing that would work too.
That's exactly what would work.
Let's talk now. Okay,
That's exactly what would work.
Let's talk about building wealth through real estate, a totally different way by becoming an Agenteur. How does an existing realtor or anybody who might be looking for a pathway do this?
So if you're an existing agent, okay, you're an existing agent, you basically just need to take the current tools. By that, I mean, you have access to the tax records, you have access to the MLS, and you have access to your network of buyers and sellers already. So if you know someone who's selling a house, you can already approach them and talk about, listen, I can get you this much on the market, or I can give you this much as an investor. Now you're presenting them options. Now, if you're not a real estate agent and you want to do this, well, you're just basically becoming an investor. That's absolutely fine. So what you would do is, so someone like you, Michael, you're not a licensed agent, but you take my course or you see my course on Instagram or whatever. And you're like, hey, you know what? That intrigues me. But you're like, Navid, I don't want to get my license, but I do want to get into investing. Then it's like, okay, Michael, what state do you live in? What's your county? Maybe we can find a way to locate a realtor in your area that does investing already, and you can team up with them.
Excellent. Okay.
Right. So now you don't got to go to school if you don't want to. You have to go to school, but you partner up with the realtor and say, hey, listen, let's do something like this. And then he or she can kind of springboard from that and team up and create a group, which is what another aspect of the course that wasn't a direct aspect of it, that kind of became a byproduct, where there was people who did reach out to me via social media, said, hey, I don't have my license. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do any of this stuff. But this sounds interesting. What can we do? And it's like, well, download this app, look for some groups, and go there and ask these interviewing questions. If they answer this in this format, you got a partner.
Yeah.
You can team up that way. And that's short. I don't want to say shortcuts it.
Well, but that's brilliant, because entrepreneurs, I mean, I'm running a business. I may not want to go to a real estate school, which might take 5 weeks. I don't know how long.
Whatever it is, yeah.
But if I can become that investor who buys a house and either keeps it or flips it and makes 15 grand in 10 minutes, I like that. But it's understanding how it all works. And that's why you've created this course, and in your mindset about being an Agenteur. So an agent entrepreneur, bringing those two words together is really cool. I love people who do things like that, to go, this is a different take on real estate investing in a sense.
Yes. Absolutely, right? Because what happens is a lot of people think, well, you're a licensed agent. Well, you're a realtor. Well, can you show me a house on a Sunday? Can you look at this open house? I'm like, no, I don't do that, right? And it's like, oh, you invest in real estate where you're a slumlord, right? Or you flip houses, you make all this money flipping houses and stuff like that. It's either one or the other. They never really join the two, right? And then if they do, they think, well, you're just an investor with a real estate license. Right. That's all you really are. And what I was noticing when I was teaching at other smaller brokerages was there was people who were struggling, because they're saying, listen, I do a lot of real estate transactions as a real estate agent. I'm listing Michael's house this weekend. I'm listing Michael's brother's house the following weekend. Michael's sister needs to buy a house. I have to show her. And those commission checks are coming in, and they're good commission checks. It's good money, don't get me wrong. And because they're seeing that business come in, they're scared to branch off into something in the investment world, because they're like, well, I don't want to stop this cash. Or if it's not broken, don't fix it. So the Agenteur course says, hey, listen, here's how you can build both. Here's how you can keep your steady flow of your realtor business while branching out into this investment side of it. So the mindset, right? Which, like, well, I don't know, it's a podcast, but my shirt says mindset. I'm a big mindset guy. And so for me, it was a shifting of the mindset that, listen, you're worried about getting these big commission checks. Let's worry about getting you some time. Let's focus on that time. What is that time going to cost you? Right. So, for example, let's say $100,000 house, 3% commission, that's $3,000 paycheck. Let's say the brokerage gets half of it. So it's $1,500. Just random numbers. So you got a check for $1,500. Not bad. However, what if, just hear me out, what if you gave half of that check to somebody else, because they're the ones who listed it for you, But in that same time frame, you went ahead and were doing something for your own business on the investment side.
Right.
Right. So it's considered passive income. Your name and your brand you put out there as a realtor doesn't go away. You bring a team member on, you train the team member accordingly. They take over your business, so to speak, but your name is attached to everything. So you're getting a piece of the pie still. Meanwhile, that same time, that exact same 2, 3, 4 hours, whatever you dedicated to showing a house or listing a home, you take that time and you reallocate it to yourself as far as you finding an investment property for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've created basically 2 forms of income. As a realtor, you're getting paid, and then as an investor, you're still getting paid too.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that shift, people don't think about that shift because they're looking at, man, that's $750 for, in this example, that's $750 I'm giving to somebody for using my name. So whoa.
Yeah.
Well, if I gave you $750 and I told you if I told you to pay me $750, Michael, for $750, pay me, and I'm going to give you a peace of mind so you can have dinner with your kids every single night. Done. Here, I'm cutting a check, right? Think about that.
Yeah.
That's that shift that people need to think about. And that's all part of the Agenteur courses, saying, hey, listen, there's ways to optimize your time without spending all this money up front. It's all about the mind shift and rethinking what we were taught in real estate school.
That's very cool, because the mindset shift is huge.
Yes.
Because once you make that shift, now everything opens up. And you're like, oh, I can see, because it's not an either or proposition. This is a both and proposition. And to understand, when you hire that team member, you are becoming an agenteur right there.
That's it. Then
it's like, okay, I'm doing this. How do I get this part of my business kind of running without me, in a sense?
That's exactly what it is.
So that I can go over here and do that. Is that right?
That's it. You're building your system where you're essentially removing yourself, because you're here, and then you become like this, and then you become like this, right, and then you kind of work your way up, and you've eliminated yourself. Now the other team members who you've hired, this coordinator, that person, they're leveraging your name that you've built over the course of the months and years or whatever, and that's fine. And for them leveraging your name, they're paying you for the leverage of your name. Meanwhile, you're doing some other stuff over there. That's
very much like a franchise model. I mean, you look at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yes,
whatever. They build the name, the brand of systems, and then other people come in and buy and give them a royalty every month for using that. The same concept.
Exactly. I never thought of it that way, but you're right. That's exactly how it is. It's a small mini franchise, and you're the franchisee.
Yeah, you have created with Agenteur a franchise marketing system for realtors, in a sense.
Yeah.
They build their franchise. They bring people in. They get a franchise fee from every deal, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
They're supporting their team, and then they're over here doing their stuff. They can work in that business as much as they want or not. It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Cool. I love that, man.
That's right. Yeah. And you can take it to another level, because the nice thing with the Agenteur system, it's not like state specific or situation specific or even market specific. So you can't say, well, this doesn't work because we're in this kind of economy. This doesn't work because I live in this state. No.
Yeah.
As long as you can get a real estate license, this business model works.
And really good economy there. The economy. My brother's in the mortgage business in Indiana, right? He's
okay.
Like, slow down. Interest are really high.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Well, if he had his real estate license, if he was an agenteur, he could still do mortgages, but he might be investing on the other side and going, you know what? Interests are high, but I'm still going to buy property because it's a good investment, because people always need a place to live. So
exactly,
it's not just for real estate agents. That's what I'm letting my audience know. If you've got the entrepreneurial mindset, you can use Navid's course on Agenteur to understand how you could partner with or become this Agenteur and still do what you do, but this other source of income and build wealth and do it in a really, really cool way. Man, this is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And I actually had an investor who did, an aspiring investor who sent me a message, and he said, listen, similarly, look, I'm really busy. I don't have the time. However, a really good buddy of mine is a real estate agent. So can I buy the course and give them access? I'm like, well, you can just gift it if you want, or just buy it and that's fine. I mean, and I get it. As a real estate agent, if you're new into the business, you don't have a lot of cash, right? Because we are 100% independent contractors. So we're spending money on business cards and signs and all this other stuff or whatever. It's understandable. We're marketing ourselves. So if there are investors who say, listen, I'm going to buy you this course. I've had it happen. I'm buying this course. I want you to learn it and then come back to me. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to apply it together and create a business that way.
That's awesome.
I've had several people do that.
I love it. I love it because you're giving people a new opportunity to take what they already know many times, agents, but they're limited. They're stuck in that broker model. This is how we do it. Well,
correct.
Okay, but there's another way. And not only do you say, here's another way, but oh, by the way, here's a course that will teach you every single thing you need to know, have access to you and all of that. Explain just a tad bit about the agent course. How long is it? And what's it? What are the modules? What are some of the modules? And then we'll send people say, how do they get more information? But at a big high level, I mean, is it a 3-week thing or is it a 30-week thing? What, I mean.
So the nice thing is it's whatever thing you want it to be. It's all recorded, it's on demand. So you can knock it out. I had one person knock it out in 5 hours.
Wow.
She knocked out in 5 hours, and within 30 days, she had her first property. And then 5 months after that, she got a check for $62,000 or something like that. So essentially it's 5 modules altogether. Within each module, you average about 20, 25 lessons.
Okay.
And everything's on demand. You take quizzes in between each module to make sure you understand as you go along. And then there's a test at the end of every single module. Once you're done, you're good to go. There's like no second guesswork at that point. It's all on you. You have to put the action. I will give you all the tools. You now must put it to action. And we have we're working on a free support group for Facebook and stuff like that to give to them. But for now, everything is pretty much there for the most part.
That's awesome. Okay. We could talk about this for a long time because you've intrigued me. It's really fascinating how you pivoted this whole world and opened it up to really anybody. But I think the best thing to do, Navid, is to say, where can they go to find this information?
Sure. So if you go to navidmoosa.com, so NAVIDMOOSA.com, my website is there. I mean, that's my website, obviously, but then in there, you'll see a course. The Agenteur course is there. I do have other courses coming up, but the Agenteur one is up and ready to go. They can purchase it right there on the spot. And then what they can basically do is it's on a format that's 100% online, on demand, accessible whenever you want, how many times you want. It doesn't really disappear per se.
Love that. Love that. I'm going to have all of that in the show notes. So if somebody's out driving the car right now and they're like, or they're showing a house and they're like, oh, you can re-listen to this podcast. You can go to the show notes and we're going to have a link to navidmoosa.com where you can get all of this information. I also have your LinkedIn there so they can connect with you there, because this really is an intriguing way for agents, for business owners to partner, to understand how to buy wealth, how to create wealth through real estate in a different sort of way. This course that's quick, easy, fast, and totally doable no matter where you live in whatever market. It's awesome. Wow. Navid, thanks for helping people become agenteurs and to be able to get a new lease on life, have the right mindset, and enjoy life and dinner with family, because I'm a family man too. So thank you for doing that, brother. Thanks for being an expert speak today.
Thanks, I appreciate you having me on here, Michael.